At 4 a.m. my phone buzzed, slicing through the silence like a siren, and when I grabbed it, half awake, the screen showed a message from my wife that said, "Something came up. Relax. I'll explain soon." My heart dropped instantly. Nobody texts that at 4 a.m. unless something is very wrong, or they're doing something they shouldn't. Without even thinking, I typed back, "No need to explain. Stay with him. You're single now," and hit send before I could stop myself. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. The room went dead quiet except for my heartbeat hammering in my chest. We'd been married for 5 years, and for most of them things were good, but lately, something felt off. Late nights at work, new co-workers I'd never met, inside jokes I wasn't part of. One name kept showing up, some guy from her office. She said he was harmless, that I was overthinking. But at 4 a.m., something came up, doesn't sound harmless. I sat there in the dark, replaying every strange moment from the last few weeks. Her phone suddenly always face down, the perfume I didn't recognize, the sudden long showers when she got home late. My brain spun nonstop, creating 100 awful explanations. Then the doorbell exploded. Once, twice, again and again. Desperate. Frantic. I froze, blood rushing to my ears. I already knew it was her. For a second, I considered not answering, letting her feel the panic I felt, but curiosity and anger dragged me up. When I opened the door, she stood there, hair messy, makeup smudged, tears streaming. "Please, let me explain," she cried, voice shaking. I didn't move. "Where were you?" I asked. "Who were you with?" She shook her head, trembling. "I went to help a friend. He called me in a panic. I didn't want to wake you." That line hit wrong. My chest tightened. "Show me your phone," I said. She hesitated, but then unlocked it and handed it over. The messages were there. Some guy I barely remembered meeting once. He'd texted her at 3:30 a.m. "I'm sorry, I didn't know who else to call." She'd replied, "I'll come by, stay where you are." And then I saw the one that froze my blood. "Don't tell him yet." I looked up at her, eyes narrowing. "What does that mean?" She panicked. "It's not what you think. I meant don't wake you. I didn't want to worry you until I was home," she said quickly, her voice cracking. I didn't buy it. No one writes that at 4 a.m. unless they're hiding something. I scrolled further. The guy said his fiancée kicked him out after a fight, that he was stuck outside with nowhere to go, sitting in a pharmacy parking lot. She claimed she just picked him up, dropped him at his brother's place, and came straight home. Maybe it was true, maybe not. But trust doesn't come back with a text explanation. "Why didn't you call me first?" I asked. "Because you'd think exactly what you're thinking now," she sobbed. "He needed help. I was just trying to do the right thing." I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to. But that message, "Don't tell him yet," kept burning in my head. I called the number in her chat. A groggy male voice answered, confirming she'd dropped him off. He sounded genuine. My anger cracked for a moment, but the damage was done. Truth and trust aren't the same thing. I handed her back the phone. "I don't know what to think," I said quietly. "Even if you didn't do anything wrong, you made it look like you did." She nodded, crying harder. "I'll prove it to you. I'll do anything," she pleaded. But I just stood there, drained. The first light of dawn crept through the blinds, turning everything gray. I told her I needed space, that I couldn't talk right now. As I walked away, she whispered, "Please don't leave me." I stopped in the hallway. "I'm still here," I said, "but I don't know for how long." And that's how the night ended. Not with answers, not with forgiveness, just silence between two people who suddenly realized how fragile love really is. I opened the door, and there she was, standing in the dim hallway light, soaked in tears, breath shaking like she'd run for miles. "Please, just listen," she begged. Voice breaking. I said nothing. My pulse was pounding, but my face stayed stone cold. "Give me your phone," I said flatly. She froze, clutching it tighter. "It's personal. It's not what you think," she stammered. My jaw tightened. "Personal? You text someone at 4 in the morning, tell me to relax, and then call it personal?" She took a step back, trembling. "Please, it's complicated," she said. I stared straight at her, and in that silence, I remembered the first time I'd seen a strange number pop up on her phone months ago, late at night. One of those moments you try to forget but can't. Back then, she'd said it was just a coworker asking about a project. I'd believed her. Foolishly. "Who is it?" I asked. She swallowed hard. "An old friend," she said. "He got into trouble tonight, needed help. His fiancée kicked him out, he had nowhere to go." I laughed bitterly. "At 4 in the morning? And you just decided to play rescuer?" "He was having a panic attack. I didn't know what else to do," she said, crying harder. Her voice cracked, her hands trembling as she tried to justify the impossible. Why didn't you call me? I snapped. Why not tell me? Why lie? She shook her head. Because you'd think exactly what you're thinking now. My anger flared. You're damn right I'd think it. Because you made it look like you're sneaking around. She reached out to grab my arm, but I stepped back. Don't, I said sharply. You don't get to cry your way out of this. She wiped her face, whispering, You don't understand. I couldn't ignore him. He was my friend before you even knew me. I stared at her, silent, then took the phone from her hand and unlocked it myself. She didn't resist. The screen lit up, and I scrolled through the messages, my heart pounding faster with every line. There it was again, don't tell him yet. The words burned into me like acid. I turned the screen toward her. Explain this, I said coldly. She shook her head, sobbing. I swear it's not what it sounds like. I meant don't wake you. I didn't want to make you worry. At 4 a.m, you're worried about me getting sleep? I shouted. That's the best you've got? She broke completely then, knees buckling, voice shaking so badly she could barely speak. I just didn't think. He was crying. He said he might do something stupid. I panicked. I didn't know how to tell you without it sounding bad. Her words came out between sobs, one after another, like someone trying to outrun the truth. But all I could see was the image of her in a car with another man, her phone lighting up, me asleep at home like an idiot. You lied, I said quietly. She froze. No, I didn't, you did. Maybe not about what you did, but about how you did it. You lied by omission. She looked completely broken now, her eyes wide, wet, desperate. Please, I'm telling you everything. I just wanted to help him. I thought you'd be mad, so I didn't say anything. I shook my head slowly. You were right about that, I said. She covered her face with both hands, crying uncontrollably. For a moment, I almost felt pity. Almost. Then that message flashed again in my mind. Don't tell him yet. And any softness in me turned to steel. You could have called me, I said, voice low. You could have told me where you were going. Instead, you sent a message that sounded like you were cheating on me. She dropped her hands, looked at me through the tears. I swear to you, nothing happened. I just helped him, dropped him off, came back here to explain. Explain what? I said. How you managed to destroy 5 years of trust in one night. She flinched like I'd slapped her. Silence filled the room. The kind of silence that's heavier than shouting. Finally, I exhaled, the fight leaving my voice but not my chest. I can't do this right now, I said. I don't even know who you are. She reached out one last time. Please, don't go like this, she whispered. I looked at her, the woman I thought I knew, and said quietly, I don't know if I'll ever believe you again. Then I turned, grabbed my jacket, and walked out. Behind me, I heard her sob, the door clicking shut like the final nail in something that used to be love. I left the apartment and drove without a destination. Just empty roads and street lights sliding past like slow ghosts. My phone buzzed nonstop. Calls, messages, voicemails I couldn't bring myself to open. I ended up parking by the river, engine off, the quiet so heavy it felt alive. My head was a storm. Every word she said, every message I read, every tiny detail replaying on a loop. Part of me wanted to believe her, to think it was all a misunderstanding. Another part whispered that trust doesn't shatter by accident. It breaks because someone chooses to drop it. The sun was coming up when I finally checked my phone again. One unread text from her. Please come home. I'll explain everything. I ignored it. Hours passed before I finally drove back. The apartment felt different, cold, smaller somehow. She was sitting on the couch, still in the same clothes, eyes swollen. When I walked in, she stood, voice shaking. I told you the truth, she said. I stared at her. Then why does it still feel like a lie? She took a breath. Because you don't trust me anymore. You're right, I said quietly. I don't. She started crying again. I can prove it. I can call him right now. I sighed. That's not the point. It's not about him. It's about you and me, and the fact that one text destroyed everything. She nodded slowly, tears falling again. I know. I was stupid. I was scared you'd think the worst, and I ended up making it real. I sat down exhausted. What do you want me to do? I asked. Forgive and forget. No, she said softly. Just don't give up on me yet. I didn't answer. She handed me her phone again. Open, unlocked, everything visible. I scrolled through her messages, her photos, her calls. Nothing incriminating. Just a broken trail of panic, confusion, and bad choices. I believed the facts, but not the story. There's a difference. I could see the truth, but the trust was still gone. Days passed. We barely spoke. She tried. Cooking, texting, small talk, but every word felt forced. I'd look at her and see both the woman I loved and the stranger who'd texted me. Something came up. Relax. I'll explain soon. That message haunted me. One night, I finally said it out loud. You know, I don't even care if you cheated or not. What hurts is that for 20 minutes, I believed you did. She looked up, tears in her eyes. Then what do we do now? I shook my head. I don't know. Maybe we take time apart. Do you still love me? She asked quietly. I hesitated. Yes, but love isn't enough when you can't trust someone. She broke down again, and I just sat there, staring at the floor, wishing I could go back to the night before that message. The next morning, I packed a bag. She didn't stop me. Is this goodbye? She asked, voice trembling. I looked at her for a long moment. I don't know, I said honestly. Maybe it's just a pause. I left the keys on the table and walked out. The hallway felt endless, but lighter somehow. Outside, the city was waking up, cars starting, people rushing to work, the world pretending nothing had happened. I looked up at the pale sky and thought about everything. How love can survive storms, but not secrets. How sometimes silence hurts more than betrayal. I don't know if we'll fix things. I don't even know if we should. But one thing I learned that night is this. Trust doesn't die loudly. It fades quietly, one unanswered message at a time. What do you think about this story? Let me know in the comments. Drop a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-life stories.